Los Blancos have made it to another Champions League final. Now listen, we've got a lot to discuss. We've got a lot to dissect. We need to see where it went wrong, where it went right, who stood out, and most importantly, who the best player in the world. In my opinion, and I think a lot of people share the same opinion. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. And most importantly, hit the like. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Boy, oh boy, I don't even know where to start. And the craziest thing is, I don't even have much time because I have an audition for the new Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel's retired. So from now on, call me HAJJ, okay? But anyways, listen. Vinícius Jr, a man on fire. The best player in the world. For me. And I feel like that performance against Bayern Munich showcased it to the whole world. It showcased it to the whole world. Because so many times players get the plaudits, they get the attention, the spotlight is on them when they get a goal or they get an assist. He walked out of that game man of the match, 0 goals, 0 assists. He ran that Bayern Munich team ragged. Now, how many times have you heard that throughout the season? Vinícius Jr destroying Team A, Team B, Team C. But the thing I love about him the most is the impact he has on games in a variety of different ways. The best of players, the most talented of players, have broad skill sets. And this guy can have an impact in games in a variety of different ways. If he has to step up and do it by himself, he can. If he has to be a team player and chip in, he can. If he has to work hard off the ball, he can. If he has to play out of position to accommodate a certain player or to play in a particular formation that he's not too familiar with, he can. Because when you look at him this year, I've seen Vinny on the right-hand side at times. I've seen him on the left-hand side at times. I've seen him play down the middle. No matter where you put him, he gives you 100%. He gives you 100%, but most importantly, he has an impact on games regardless of the opposition. And for me, that's what makes him special. That's what makes him special. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no maybes, there's no I need this formation or I need that position or I need this player or I need that manager. No, wherever you put me on that pitch, I will shine. And for me, that's what makes him the best player in the world. But let's just see how he destroyed this Bayern Munich team and why he deserves to be labelled as the best player in the world. And most importantly, why he deserves to be in a final and having walked out of that game man of the match. Now, where did it go right for Real Madrid? And most importantly, where did it go wrong for Bayern Munich? But before I break down to you how this Real Madrid team, and most importantly, Carlo Ancelotti, because he deserves his flowers for how he exposed this Bayern Munich team, we need to understand how Bayern Munich set up and why they set up like that. Look at the screen. Two centre-halves protected by a layer of 4 midfielders. So you see the full-backs push forward, then you got the 2 midfielders. And on top of that, you got the 4 attackers. So Bayern Munich, in a sense, in possession, 2-4-4. Real Madrid, off the ball, 4-4-2. Those two are 2 very similar formations. It's just they're the other way round. I'll break it down for you in a different way. Look at this. For me, that looks like man-to-man. That genuinely looks like man-to-man. Every single player has a man to mark, has a man to nullify, most importantly, has a man to focus on. You either press them or you cut out the passing angle and you try and take them out of the game. But here's where the problem is. This is where the problem is. Now, we mentioned man to man. 2-4-4 setups. So what does that mean? That means the second line of defense only has 2 defenders. The 2 defenders play narrow. So put 1 and 2 together. If they play narrow against a team that's set up in 4-4-2, What's the answer? Where's the weak link? It's on the screen. It's the flanks. It's the flanks. F to the L to the A to the N to the K to the S. What does that spell? Flanks. Now here's where the problem is. Who do Real Madrid have on the flanks? They don't have a deadbeat. They don't have a player that's declining or an up-and-coming player that lacks maturity, that lacks experience. No. They've got the best player in the world. And if he's not the best player in the world to you, then he's most likely the second best player in the world. That left-hand side, Vinny Jr. had fun. Vinny Jr. had fun. He took Kimmich on a ride. And it was crazy. Bro, it was scary hours. Hashtag scary hours. He beat him every single time. He got the beating of him every single time. He ran him ragged. And at the end of the day, when you play in that manner, when you keep taking the game to the opposition, even if you're 1-0 down, there's always a way back into the game. And sometimes you're watching Real Madrid and you can see Vinny Jr. was the answer because he had the beating of Kimmich, and it doesn't matter. They tried to tag team on him. It wasn't a problem. There was a period where he drilled past 3-4 players. If it wasn't for Emmanuel Neuer save. But the question is, was Thomas Tuchel naive? Did he underestimate this Real Madrid team? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. The reason why he set up in a 2-4-4 is because he knew in build-up, those two centre-halves with Emmanuel Neuer makes it 3. So in a sense, it was like a 3-4-4. And that's why you could see Bayern Munich, even in build-up, they didn't really struggle against Real Madrid. They didn't really struggle. But the problem was, whenever they would turn over the ball, the centre-halves now are in a predicament where either they push out wide to occupy the flanks, but now that leaves space in the centre for your Jude Bellinghams, for your Rodrigos, for your Toni Krooses, for your Tchouaménis, for all of those players to push forward. Or they stay narrow, but what does that do? That leaves their fullbacks 1v1 in ISO. You don't want to be 1v1 in ISO with two people, me and Vinny Jr. Now, I can't end this video without giving a special shout out to a player that's really caught my eye, especially in the game against Bayern Munich, but most importantly, throughout the Champions League campaign. A player that's been there when Real Madrid have needed him most. A player that's defied all odds throughout La Liga, throughout the Champions League. And a player, in my opinion, that believes Real Madrid in a position where they've probably got the biggest headache on planet Earth. Florentino Perez has a headache. Carlo Ancelotti has a headache. Even the teammates. Now, before I mention who he is, a few standout performers. Toni Kroos. Amazing. Toni Kroos, amazing. But how many times have you heard people come out and say Toni Kroos was amazing? Just an amazing footballer. Rosselu. One substitution changes the game. Sometimes move away from the technical ability, the flair players, the ones that are full of skills and tricks. Just go get yourself a fox in the box, put him in the box, and he'll score you 2 tap-ins. Because that's what fox in the boxes do. But the player that I really want to speak about is Lunin. For me, he was amazing. For me, he was amazing. Now, fair enough. Real Madrid dominatable. Real Madrid held on to the ball for way longer than Bayern Munich. They created way more opportunities than them. But whenever he was tested, he was there. And he stood up tall. Whenever he was challenged, no matter what he faced, he came out on top. The thing that I loved about that Lunin performance out of everything is the fact that in my, what should we call it? In my school of thought, okay? Look at me. I'm a gaffer now. But anyways, in my school of thought, what are 4 things that keepers should be judged on? Number 1, shot stopping, okay? Number 2, can they claim? Can they catch? Can they command their own box? Can they claim crosses? Number 3, in the modern game, ball playing. And number 4, sweeping. I watched that game and I saw Lunin get tested on all 4 of those things. Not 1, not 2, not 3, Talking all full. Passes in behind, coming out, sweeping. To stop Harry Kane from getting through. Corners, free kicks, coming out, claiming the ball. Ball playing, under pressure, no pressure. Finding your teammates with the diagonals. And most importantly, the shot stopping, which keeps his team in the game. And like I said, it's a crazy dilemma. And it's probably one of those good headaches for a manager to have. When the primary choice is a Thibaut Courtois, amazing goalkeeper, but then the backup has shown he's equally as good. And in my opinion, I feel like he deserves to start that Champions League final because this is his campaign. This is his campaign. This is his season. This is his journey. And he deserves to see it out because he's shown he's just as consistent as a Courtois. And as wild as it sounds, he's shown he's just as good. But I had to give him a shout out. But listen, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like. And I will catch you guys on another video.